So it's fair to say that Formula One has come in for a bit of flack recently when it comes to its TV coverage. The direction has been rather shoddy, to paraphrase James Hunt from back in the day. Now, Formula One TV coverage has evolved a lot over the years. Gone are the days of the local broadcaster basically touting and hyping up their local driver, like, I don't know, Esteban Tuero back in the day in Argentina, where he was like 18 from back of the grid pretty much, and they always wanted to focus on him because he's the local lad effectively. Those days are pretty much gone, but the TV coverage recently has come in for a lot of criticism, not just from the fans, but also from the drivers too. And I think what Carlos Sainz has said, one of the directors of the GPDA, the Grand Prix Drivers Association, is actually pretty spot on, to be honest. A lot of people were saying that it was pretty dull, and they actually missed a lot of the action, really, when it came to this. In highlight format, it wasn't that bad, really, but 2-hour race coverage could have been better for sure. And when it came to some of the decisions about what they were showing on the track, or in this case, off the track, it really ruffled the feathers of a lot of people, because there weren't that many overtakes in Singapore, which is, you know, kind of par for the course, really. At the end of the day, Singapore is a very tricky track to overtake around. It's more about the physical challenge, the street fighting battles, really, when it comes to that, rather than actual overtaking, which, you know, we're going to see it twice next year. We've got a sprint race at Singapore next year. Yay, that's going to be great. But let me have a look at what Carlos Sainz has said here for you guys, because I think he's really spot on when it comes to this, because it does show that these days Formula One is about more than just the F1, more than the racing itself. And I think that the TV directors are trying to pander to an audience that might exist. It might be out there. The demand to see these things might be out there. But overall, I would have to say most F1 fans absolutely hate this, and it has to change. And will it change? Probably not. But let me just read out what Carlos Sainz has said here, guys, the actual quote for you. So shout out to El Partidazo de Cope, who I'm presuming are a Spanish broadcaster or media organisation of some kind. Never heard of them before personally, but shout out to them because they got this quote from Carlos Sainz. He said, quote, "It's becoming a bit of a trend, which must have worked for them once upon a time when people found it interesting to see our girlfriends, to see famous people on TV, the reactions. I understand that if there is an overtake, a very tense moment in the race, it is understandable that the production team might want to show a reaction shot if they have seen that was worked in the past, but they only should if the competition is respected and you are always showing the important moments of the race. Last week they did not show any of the 4 or 5 overtakes I did at the end, nor did they show Fernando's pursuit of Lewis. They missed a lot of things. The other thing is fine, but don't lose the sight of the main thing. For me, they go overboard a little showing the celebrities and girlfriends." End quote. And I think he's absolutely spot on. I mean, a textbook example for me is the overtake of Michael Schumacher by Mika Hakkinen at the 2000 Belgian Grand Prix. You saw the action out on track, you saw the overtake, then they cut back to the McLaren garage, and Mika's wife or girlfriend at the time, I can't remember which one she was at the time, she was celebrating with the McLaren crew, but you didn't miss the action out on track. It's cool to see the fan reactions. It's amazing to see how the Tifosi react to Ferrari making an overtake at Monza or Imola, how the Spanish crowd react to Alonso or Sainz making a overtake, how the British fans react to Norris or Hamilton making a pass out on the track. It's good to see that. That is part of it. It's part of the show, if you will. Part of the appeal of Formula One is the fans themselves, of course, but it's a race. It'd be like football not showing a goal. Remember the uproar back in the day when England scored during an ITV ad break, I think 2008, something like that, a long time ago. There was uproar about it, and rightfully so. It was disgraceful. Now, of course, there are less goals in football than there are overtakes in Formula One, depending on the track. Unless we're talking about Monaco here, then Monaco's probably got less overtakes on the track. But, you know, you should really not lose sight of this. And Formula One, you know, you all make mistakes. It happens, right? But they made so many during the coverage. They made so many. Everybody's up in arms about this, and rightfully so. I totally understand it. Will they rectify this for the United States Grand Prix? Probably not. Probably not, especially with how many celebrities will be there and stuff. You know, they'll cut back to a shot of Joe Rogan celebrating a McLaren overtake in the garage or whatever. You know, something like that could easily happen, but we'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see if they learn from their mistakes or not. But yeah, get your thoughts in the comments below. Is the TV coverage of Formula One these days not that good? Do they need to make changes? If so, what? Let me know as always. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, guys, if you want to see more like this, and have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.